Once again, my main Sam Makwaba, ABM and Sam Fambra, a Fabio TV on YouTube. Mami Mamu, a Kwaba, a Siepa, and Fambra, a Fabio TV on YouTube. Yabakuma say Asante Kotoko training grounds. A last training session. Asante Kotoko, and so Eddie Akofisi, a clubber, your friends in Nations FC, and a bar, Yadi report, the top from Bia, and so Eddie Abramo. But answer my question, I mean, all Muslims across the group. Eid Mubarak. All Muslims across the group. Eid Mubarak. Enra. No so etimi Eddie omo fasting no. Na enso etimi ban awie nti enra omo bob bompaye. Nti yesre ala se omo mpaye na enra omo boy no. Ono nso ebetimi asom na bibia enso etimi efa nti enra. Na Muslim for no. Omo nso Eddie omo fasting no ba awie nti ba we all Muslim across the group. Eid Mubarak. Ne asre ala se die mo nso mo de tu na nimbia. Onso ebetimi ayama minti se me kan me ba Asante Kotoko training grounds me ba channel yi so check akra me ba channel yi so check na me the reports ebremo Asante Kotoko training especially na me ba most at times enso where the report bremo gamer Asante Kotoko born baba yara na ewem enso the live coverage ebremo ye kwa away enso e kopeke games no live coverage and report there bia enso the bremba due to one or two things bi etimi ema Jeko echiri kakaba right now me no mka say die Masaba Baka Iniesta say the Miami boss Fabio Grosso Cano Iniesta Masaba Baka right now the Fabio TV this platform media munim say oba a local news now there is none platform we die eba S7 with the good local news into once again say American Mababaka minsa edi adwuma pa no enso edi be minti say American ne JBPM ewa Asante Kotoko training grounds ye ba ha cheyi kakra but last week me amene me boss Fabio Grosso e ba ha e ma Fabio Asante Kotoko that friendly gamer omonso ene David United boy and once last week we Asante Kotoko na omuni program bi ana say na omuni competitive game bi anti last week no Asante Kotoko enso etimi eto nsa frɛ David United enso ene omo esi aka e wada kwaja achi game ni ba na wie no na ye club friends say David United omo humility Asante Kotoko ema game no results me kwa abonte no Kotoko supporters dey play enso e backlash team ni practice come again enso echire team nti say me no ka say there right now Asante Kotoko omo nso etimi aye omo final training session omo nso edikobo Nations FC game no enso nti na no pay say me no ka say there training no abanawe ya me benya abotre na me we na me dey vivid report because Asante Kotoko training na very snappy say all the time Kotoko back training grounds omo list time na omo timi dey training ko na 1 hour 30 minutes most of time so check Asante Kotoko training grounds so omo ba no me training na na list time ko omo nso etimi dey prepare na 1 hour 30 minutes but ne je ba training grounds hu different story je betimi enya abotre na yenso yetimi de amase ye ba ha no se hu panyini bi anase Asante Kotoko IMC member bi anase even the new board now in the course of the report no menya abotre na me nso me de ama ana me komanim so a Nations FC wan so mo any Asante Kotoko ana betimi abogem ni nyame board na nra omo training sessions na even enanopa training sessions Nations FC enso held ye no ye betimi anya abotre na be wi Asante Kotoko de na ya the Nations there no enso atai to am because Nations for no omani abre papa because enna ya di asoto to for no na omo training ground so ye say eni bra omo nso na omo ede training ground na was Super Nations Asante Kotoko players no so omo eni bre proud to this game so omo eni bre pa na omo he say bibia enso ebetimi akoso jojo ede ama club nti ma no kumanim na me mfa report no enso emfa ento mamu sara me kanene Asante Kotoko team no omo ebepie arakwaja achia 9 and answer sorry 8:30 usually me nim say training no kwan kada ba so be 9 ne nim say training no ede ba so be 9 but ye ba no 8:30 and you say Kumase club ya Asante Kotoko 8:30 pepe ne you say coach your friend say Prince Owusu say right now on interim coach edema club friends Kumase Asante Kotoko 8:30 pepe na je wu say coach no enso e kana betwem then from there pe and assistant coach a friend say Hamza Mohammed one say ono double as assistant coach osa ewem you side wa Hamza assign head coach enso edema you team Hamza enso etimi etoa so ema coach no omo ebarawo ewa adakwaja achia so from there pe ayewu say bass no enso etimi abepie mu ha inti Asante Kotoko say make no mo pie mu ha 8:30 inti bass ni be si ape ha ne hu say usual thing players no start say omo sisi 1-1 players ni nyɛ sisi wie and omo match to the field nicely and omo ekɔbɔ mpae omo egadae say the Kotoko ba bia omo yɛ omo gadae de ne hu say omo elidi ebɔ mpae e de training no enso start say omo e de be hye so but answer na make the training proper and so ma me ma nya ne ntie say na Asante Kotoko limited number of players and be training no Asante Kotoko and none of per training omo yɛ no medical mo say a final session omo eriko share Nations FC game no opre Nations FC ana say Uber League ni ma Asante Kotoko team ba ko a omo ani omo share e wo Ghana Premier League omo brepa Nations FC because Nations FC since omo so etimi ba Ghana Premier League no club e friends Asante Kotoko omo enso etimi enhye Nations dan ti wo game we both clubs no omo nso eni etimi abrepa enti Asante Kotoko omedu ape ana wo bompa na je hu say omo nso eri training share so Asante Kotoko omo started training omo started with some runs kakra bi je hu say physical trainer no wa match boys ni nyina akọ the half of the center no and I said the center of the pitch runs no mo ye no na enye full pack enti je hu say physical trainer no after so omo bompa eri pe ano match boys ni nyina enso ekọ center ho boys no runs for close to 4 to 5 minutes but that rounds na intensity no from kakra na Asante Kotoko training no intensity no omo rising from down to top into where Asante Kotoko say make catch na running no na intensity no from kakra nti omo twa park no close to 4 to 5 minutes that session no physical trainer no AC to it say boys no bia betimi aye na bibia enso etimi find from there pe and you say physical trainer na some match boys ni na enso de o mabaso hands up bass Asante Kotoko park entrance dey be free ase oba pole wa ase on dey that end no ana players no omo ekoko mrika no that end no ana players no omo kokko mrika nti omo we mrika no pe and you say physical trainer no wasai match boys ni nyina enso asaba top nti omo ba no that session no oba the left side omo hye cones one who say players no omo start with the ball nti ono omo the cones no some ball drills close to 10 to 15 minutes nti after that run you know and even say omo by the left hand side of the top center and I say the top side of the pitch wo free ase ba top wo start that dose nti omo free that left side wo pe and you say assistant and I said the physical trainer was sign and match boys ni nyina akọ the right hand side wo the right hand side also was actually control from but I want na a different training asia na me kire o say that side wo no the boss na that dose no but omo ko esro pe and you say physical trainer was sad draw no from then you say players no omo start some sprinting works how to me the players mienu ejina no the mienu ejina the tail end no sa the mienu asa ko jina the tail end na mienu enso ejina middle and to mutu two assembly kana but assembly kana na intensity na was kakra how they compare runs no any that draws number no the left hand side wa that one side and I say sorry that right hand side what there that section no na intensity na was into mutu two mrika sprinting west omo kwa no masa change no omo ye this drill no ma change but that drill no purposely na ni nyina running na ni nyina running to omo ye some sprinting work and so to akọ so no close to 10 to 15 minutes and I said make na training just 1 hour into omo to check time in pe omo ye that sprinting works no close to 10 to 15 minutes 20 from there and he say omo enso progress akọ another session but answer na me question no and then my for 20-man squad now. Omo ba training no emfama wo. Ha bi bia sesa this 20-man squad a me dey bro no omo na nyame boa wo kina. Omo betimi enya nod no akobo nations game no. Ha because ene Kumasi Asante Kotoko training no na limited players. Ha 20 players, goalkeepers. Emienu ha na outfield players enso 18. Ha nti nations FC game no squad a omo enso betimi ewura mu se bi bia sesa ha me nim se gross otinase a or the final 20-man squad never bremo but enne embrante duba na say eduonu 20 ha eduonu sa mechanism tin so a na correct nti embrante 20 a omo nso etimi ebe training no mame wem na me mfa omo nso emfa mansa na me dey training na eno nso eto aso no enso e dey amamu nti goalkeepers mienu na ba ha goalkeepers mienu Aziz Dari formerly of Ebechemi United ene ono enso etimi e ba de player ono nso friend say Fatau one say Kamara Mohammed due to a red card accumulation Kumasi Asante Kotoko ne Karela okodi nti this game or out ha nti ene two goalkeepers a ono nso etimi PM one e Aziz Dari ha na e Fatau ono nso etimi PM e wa ha then if you are defenders a ono nso etimi e ball penny ana so obutimi G penny enso PM e wo ne training grounds ana me be gba amamu no Samba Indongani the captain of Kumasi Asante Kotoko ene ono nso etimi de PM e wa Zakaria Fuseni Zak ono nso etimi de PM wa Hamzata Musa Hamzata ono eka defenders no e ma mo be PM wa Emmanuel Kotei enso etimi de PM wa Patrick Asiedu one player na Asante Kotoko for na e call for national team but masa when the performance na dey above from point me so say nyame bo akina so otimi nya minutes bia ono nso etimi akeka no ti Patrick Asiedu ono nso etimi emeki nod no enso ewem de ne player ono nso friend say Joseph Amoa etimi e finalize e defenders no e ma omo e ba no nti defenders a omo nso etimi ewem e wo nyame bo akina game bi bia sesa because football no ombe train wa enim say so bi the injury kra e wo no e kwa enim nti say make kan if anything or last and I say if all things be equal if all things be equal so the bias say these defenders are mabo omudin no ana omonso ebetimi akọ eyegema Kotoko enso any nation betimi abo nyame bo acha de no furu a midfielders a omonso ebetimi age pene enso akọ that game Emmanuel Enchi ono we dey training na set kwajo ene ono nso etimi ebe training player your friend say Prince Bedu enso etimi age pene enso ebe transfer Prince Bedu and as sorry Prince Bedu the former team enso nations FC after say ono nso eba Kumasi Asante Kotoko sign any the former club nations FC enso etimi ebe so the player your friend say who bejewu ono nso etimi ebe training and baba yaya enso etimi ebe training and Peter Amidu Akwa ono nso etimi ebe training and ana player ono nso friend say and say sorry Inusa Adams kame ya kai Joseph Amoa de ono defender anti player your friend say Inusa Adams ono nso etimi age penie enso eka midfielders no ema omo nso ebe training and the next strikers no omo nso etimi age penie ba ha no Albert Amoa Donzo Morfin Dogo Yakubu Elvis Chebafo Auchi finally or back to Asante Kotoko squad bi bianze sadia nyame bo china say who Elvis Chebafo Auchi ono nso eka Kotoko squad no awoma ko face nations mema no enso enyo in the squad omo nso etime ba training na no pa 20 squad no ana me nso metimi area ma no ntima me nkoso na me fa training sessions na how etimi progressive from that drills no na me fa to na me fa bibia enso entimi embra na wie in the said American just from that sprinting we expect hani who say Kumasi Asante Kotoko boys na progressive omo ba the down half of the pitch omo feel so esa eba down omo ba ope ani who say omo nyina e match ko goal post no Kumasi Asante Kotoko players no nyina e match eko down pole no down pole no you say omo start goal scoring omo the post keto be see the target angles of the post no and you say coach no or chase players ni be two ball no mamo no mo banging sent omo ye that do now close to 5 minutes omo ball no eto net mu sa hwe koroko omo hia goals pa because nyame bo kira nations for no hwe eni bro omo de ba sa asante koroko entimi ambo no homodin ambo ntan na ngum dia nyoma enso betimi ahadwen panti koroko boys no enso efa that do close to 5 minutes close to 5 minutes and you say coach no asa signal say omo embra no omo nsan em progress from there then from there no and you say coach a friend Hamza was set half pack was set half pack that session Hamza started any tactical drills no coach Hamza set half pack you say ogada defenders no one side and ogada attackers no and so another side into that drills na course for close to 20 minutes that during the mean to me and discussing your p because asante koroko ye ba omo grounds and say be exposing your supporters now mo club no won semeti into the ba grounds and say be ye ba be exposing your anti the into asante koroko say make can coach Hamza e supervise boys no mo enso that drone close to 20 minutes close to 20 minutes or change tactics be brave ora na who say be the players no jomo ye no enye de o kire mo na Hamza a promise to mo say be omo enye ne o mayi but mama who say that session no Hamza and taking charge Hamza tactical works in there most of times na head coach no and he taking charge but any about training grounds no jadi any to form and monitor training no tactics works be a course be Hamza and taking charge that session course no na coach Prince Owusu enso eti daga timi Hamza say what the boys no ebefa that tactics no kopim say omonsu ehu the coach enso then from there and he will say koroko boys no sign set piece training almost started some corner kick drills until the ball no ball righter now am left back pija na defenders no challenge attackers no now assign move over right no pijaba na defenders no and so challenge attackers no into that corner kick drills no and so close to 7 to 10 minutes then from there we say wasanya progress about free kicks progress about free kicks free kick drills kopim say omo nso stretch offer training no and so etimi ban into training no na just for 1 hour said me start in the kind of training no na just for 1 hour but the intensity of the training na medium compared to any nations there na encheme de bebro no na asante koroko there no e wo form into omo wie that corner kick and as a corner kick any free kick goes pep you want koroko players no asa match dugout no stretch here ma omo di training no nyina and so etimi banere but answer na make close to koroko chapter no mami wa nations mami wa nations na me fa news kakra and ready asoto to from e wo mu training ground and so ento ma area ya be wrap up things near the bibia and so abanere and so dem and na uwem nation safety training grounds and na intie nya said Dr. Kwame Chei Dr. Kwame Chei PM nations training ground and na Dr. Kwame Chei the owner of a nations football club reports I know a PK nations FC training grounds and say after the training na you see nations FC training grounds penny correct over intensity nations FC you see the training na was so reporter and now you get a free nations FC Brankese and so and say na over nations FC training now can na was so after a training Dr. Kwame Chei and boys no a meeting close to 2 hours and now over nations FC game we game ni pa almost say that record na e was asante koroko since omo eba league koroko influence me so omo da no omo so epese omo retain that record ni na nations FC after a training no omo etimi meeting close to 2 hours ana ya say nya ntete say doctor kura a promise boys ni say nya me bo china so omo so etimi ewuram e we adakwaja acha na say baba yara sorry baba yara na gamer omo so ne koroko ebe bo no so omo timi enya winner ono so e special package and so the moment nations aso ya ha omo camp report kakra and no ya peke no and I so yetimi de man na no pa say make nations so be omo final training and no the likes of Razak Simpson Emmanuel Ano omo nyina no ma keka enso e wo soro pa enso e wo training ground nti training report aha a ba da kwaja achi Kumasi Asante Kotoko nyame boa Sunday 3 p.m. game a omonso any Nations FC bebo no ana yetimi anya abotre detail report no enso etimi edawan nti said da bia ka no oba page no so na enne ana first time a oba page no so anu abo mo den say onso betimi subscribe page na wa share ha no wa share akọ various group na notification bell no so da bia wa putting on said da bia yedi video betum no onso watimi enya bia nti report no ha ana yedi besi nyame bo akina yebe pm baba yara sports stadium the better from bia proud to air the start of the game Fabio TV trust yourself yenso yebetimi da but Iniesta said American right now me back for good reports and also Ghana Premier League any Asante Kotoko ho bia as time goes on yenso yebetimi da manti ha ana de besi share nyame bo akina baba yara stadium Asante Kotoko any Nations FC yebetimi report bia better from bia enso manti said American aha ana de mo besi bye bye.